All right, so we're going to jump straight into Portfolio 1. Portfolio 1 resonated with me because all of my senses are important to me and are vital for me to help understand the world around me and help gain knowledge through everything I see, hear, and feel in my life, especially with music. Especially with music. How did I get in here? The next takeaway I got from this assignment was the social aspect. If I couldn't see or hear anybody, I would lose interest in communicating with people both physically and on the internet. I would become more of an introvert than an extrovert if I didn't have the ability to speak or see others. If I'd even lost my ability to feel others physically, I would have a hard time having to do that, be that human connection, because most people have their sense of touch, and lacking that sense would make me feel locked out or disconnected from society. So the connection I made with this chapter, I made it connected to chapter 10 in the way that all of your senses, including your emotions, are very vital to the way you live and how you live. With Portfolio 2, my first takeaway was learning theories like operant conditioning, classical conditioning, and observational learning can strongly affect how we study and behave in school. Positive reinforcement encourages good habits by rewarding success, while negative reinforcement helps by removing distractions. Punishment, whether adding something unpleasant or taking away something good, can change behavior too. Using these learning strategies in real life, like studying in a quiet place or rewarding yourself for finishing tasks, can help improve academic performance and reduce stress. Watching how others succeed can also be a great way to help build better habits. For the connection, I'd say this connects to chapter 6 because the conditioning methods are all learning methods and they're all important to how a child is raised. All right, so Portfolio 3 is a bit different. I have to give a bit of context to this. So for context, I'm talking about an incident that happened to me in elementary school during a zoo field trip. So emotional and personal experiences can make memories stronger and easier to recall. The memory of the zoo trip was vivid because it was shocking, which shows how the self-reference effect and automatic processing help store powerful memories, and automatic processing helps store powerful memories that are tied to strong feelings or personal meaning. Memories can change over time, especially the small details. Faces and surroundings may have been altered because they were a child when it happened. This highlights how encoding and visual memory work and how not all parts of memory stay the same, especially if they weren't deeply processed. So the connection I made with this chapter was I connected it to chapter 14 because it shows how a traumatic or a stressful event, like seeing someone seriously injured, can impact a person's memory and emotional well-being. The zoo incident was remembered clearly because it was scary and shocking, which ties into how the body and brain responds to stress. My first takeaway for Portfolio 4 was that starting college has helped me grow academically and personally, even with limited changes in social life. While I still live at home and have not made many new friends at the college, I'm mainly keeping the ones I made previously. And I'm still learning how to manage my time properly and take responsibility for my work. These changes show that college can support personal growth even without big lifestyle shifts. Different psychological theories help explain how I'm adapting to college life. Attachment theory explains my strong emotional support from past relationships. The self determination theory helps explain my motivation to finish work. Maslow's hierarchy shows why I can focus on learning without financial stress, and Erickson's theory explains how I'm still forming my identity as a younger college student. For the connection, one way I can connect my college experiences to chapter 14 yet again is through how I manage pressure and responsibility. Even though live at home and I don't have to deal with the financial stress that most college students do, like paying for rent or food, I still face stress from the schoolwork and the time management I have to do. I tend to procrastinate, which adds stress, especially when the deadlines get closer. And chapter 14 talks about how stress can affect both the body and the mind. I definitely feel that when I'm rushing to finish assignments, it can make me feel anxious or tired, even though I always get my work done. For Portfolio 5, I'm going to need to add more context to this yet again, because I had interviewed one of my friends from West Virginia for this one. There's a clear emotional difference between how my subject sees himself and how he wants to be, but both versions share the same deep value of caring for others. Even though he struggles with self image and confidence, especially in how he looks, sounds, and sometimes acts, he still finds peace and purpose in making others smile. This shows some congruence between his real and ideal self, as both are rooted in kindness and empathy. Living in a place where his identity and beliefs feel out of place makes him feel isolated and shy in real life. His ADHD also affects how he thinks, talks, and feels throughout the day. So despite all this, he remains goal driven and open to growth, as shown in his reflection on the Big Five personality test, which helped him understand himself better. For the connection I made with this chapter, I connected it to chapter 11 on personality because the subject shows elements of Carl Rogers' humanistic theory, especially the idea of congruence between the real and ideal self. Despite struggling with self image, the subject's caring nature remains strong in most versions of himself. His ADHD also reflects the role of inherited traits in shaping personality, and the Big Five personality test helped him better understand his behavior and emotions. Alright, this one's going to be a little bit embarrassing for me. For context, the prompt was identify 2 social settings you regularly participate in, and I didn't realize that I would have to make a video on this as I thought it would be private, but I'm not really ashamed of it, so here we go. The 2 takeaways I got from this art.
Shut up.
Dude, what the hell did I say about coming into my room like that?
Can I get Starbucks?
No!
Why not?
Dude, you just came into my room chugging a Monster. Did you empty it?
Don't matter. Where are your keys and wallet?
You're not getting my keys, but you can have the wallet. I don't care. Just don't buy anything expensive.
Thanks, nerd.
Oh, anyways, for the takeaway, I realized that my behavior changes depending on where I am. At school, I'm more serious and focused, but in the furry fandom, I feel more relaxed, silly, and free to express myself. It showed me how much the environment I'm in can affect the way I act without me even really thinking about it, especially when putting on a character. I also learned that the groups I'm a part of shape not only how I act, but how I feel. Being accepted in the furry fandom makes it way easier for me to be myself, while school just gives me the important responsibilities of my classwork and having a physical connection with people. This helps me understand how social norms, roles, and even stereotypes can really shape the way we connect with others and how we grow as people. For this chapter, the connection I made with this chapter was that with chapter 12, because the chapter explains how people's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are influenced by the groups and environments they're in, my experiences show how social roles and norms shaped how I act differently in school compared to the furry fandom. It also relates to the idea of conformity and group influence as I adjust my behavior based on what each group expects or encourages.
Here's your wallet.
What? Stupid dog. Anyway, time for our last section. For Portfolio 7. For the backstory on this one, I was talking about a story of a drive-by near the skate park when I was there, and I learned that even a short scary event like the one at the skate park can have a strong effect on my body and mind. My heart raced, my thoughts got fast and panicked. I felt nervous for days afterward. It showed me how powerful and sudden stress can be, even if it doesn't last long. The second takeaway is I also realized how helpful it is to talk with others when I feel stressed. Talking to friends and family helped me calm down, and now I understand that support makes a big difference. Moving forward, I want to use better coping strategies like calming techniques and maybe even talking to a counselor so the fear doesn't stay with me long term.
Or being a stupid dog.
Shut up. Now, the last connection. Alright, this connects to chapter 10 because the fear I felt during this stressful event affected my emotions and lowered my motivation. After what happened at the skate park, I didn't feel like going out or doing much. I kind of wanted to stay home and feel safe. And my emotional response made me lose interest in things I normally enjoy. But later, as I calmed down and got support from my friends and family, I slowly started to feel more motivated again. And this shows how strong emotions can influence motivation and how support and coping can help bring it back. Thank you for watching my video. I tried to keep these heavy topics as lighthearted as I could, and I hope you had as much fun watching it as I did making it. If you wanted to keep supporting me, my socials will be in my bio, and that should be about it. Have a good one. See ya.